This is Don't Panic, episode number 331, recorded January 31st, 2022. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets, the internet, and, of course, you. I'm Sean Jennings, joined, as always, by the Matt Stafford and Joe Burrow of podcasting. Dan Miller and Colby Rabideau are here. Good evening, gentlemen.
I don't know who either of those people are.
Oh, no, Dan. Dan. No!
Oh, wow.
No,
I didn't even have the hubris to guess.
Oh, my God.
I think they're football. Is that true?
Thank you. They are. They're the two quarterbacks who will be playing in the Super Bowl in a couple weeks.
Right. The Bengals?
I've heard of this.
Yeah, Joe Burrow, quarterback of the Bengals, and Matt Stafford, the quarterback of the Rams.
Now, these are basically two NFL teams I've never heard of.
The LA
The
Rams?
I mean, I assumed LA has a football team, but I've never really heard of them.
Oh, no.
They used to be
no
the St.
49ers.
Louis Rams.
Were they the ones playing in that Super Bowl when the lights went out?
No, that would have been Ravens 49ers.
Right.
Weren't the Rams were the first team that the Patriots beat way back in the day in the Super Bowl, right? The first time.
That's right. In 2001. They had previously won in 1999, the greatest show on turf, they called them.
Right, that's right, because they were they were the incumbent.
Yes, and they were very good. A lot of Hall of
Kurt
Famers
Warner.
on that team. And then, of course, Joe Burrow plays for the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that's never really been good.
Right. Now a Bengal is a tiger.
Yes, it is. They have a tiger stripe motif about them in the great city of Cincinnati.
Now, a subsequent important question. I saw a picture of the St. Louis Rams or a St. Louis Rams player. Is that their normal jersey that looks absolutely insane?
The Rams jerseys?
Yeah, now I have to look it up.
Yeah, you might have to look it up. But they do have a pretty bold color scheme. A lot of the teams are getting into that now.
It's like very... See, when I just Googled it, it doesn't look like what I saw. What I saw was something crazy.
This looks like a classic blue and yellow color scheme to me.
Oh, I Googled
From
St.
what I'm
Louis
seeing.
Rams jersey.
Yeah, I mean, you might have caught, they do those special one-off throwback jerseys or the color rush jerseys, and or they get a little
Maybe,
zany.
yeah, this seems normal. Maybe it was like a weird, like a novelty game that I saw. Cool. Who knew?
Yeah, get excited for that.
Who are you rooting for, Sean?
Oh, boy. You know what, Dan? I'm rooting for a good time. That's what I'm rooting for. I couldn't dare pick a winner.
I just watched for the commercials.
It's going to be great. Well, Matt and I will be doing our annual Super Bowl prop bets again this year.
It's the best part of the Super Bowl.
Once again, I'll have an opportunity to lose. So look forward to that. That's coming up.
Now, Sean, did we talk on the show about your NFT success story?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, sure, Dan. Let's talk about my NFT success story, please. Because it does deserve a follow-up. So, I was going to say famously, but that's a lie. We, a while back, had an NFT episode where we tried to purchase NFTs. I was the only one who actually bought one, I would like to say, for the record.
Hard.
Somehow I ended up being the only sucker who could do it. So I'm logging into my account to double check here. I haven't looked at this in forever, but I got involved in NBA Top Shot, which is the NBA's official NFT marketplace for what they call moments or player highlights. I somehow I got roped into spending what did I say, $130 on these stupid moments. So it was definitely a sunk cost at this point. Mm-hmm. But the upside is I sold my first ever moment. A Jaylen Brown three-pointer from 2001. It was number 4,300 of 9,999 off the base set, and I sold it for $13, which was more than what I paid for it.
There you go.
Do you have
So a very narrow profit.
Do you have a sense of why anyone would care about this particular moment?
Well, so one of Top Shot's big gimmicks, and this is how they got me to spend that amount of money, is they have you make a collection,
right?
And then there are challenges based on those collections. So like right now there are challenges where it's like create a challenge featuring 7 specific moments from a specific pack to earn a specific NFT, blah blah blah. So it encourages people to not just have like valuable ones, but to collect a group of them. And so someone will buy like just a random one so they can have the entire collection.
Got it. And do you know that's what happened here, or you just suspect?
I just suspect. I don't know. Should I buy another pack?
No.
Oh, it hasn't dropped yet. I got to wait for the pack to drop. There's a $49 Kevin Durant pack. Interesting. So overall, I've only ever lost money on it, but I did officially buy and sell an NFT. So that was
you really did
exciting.
the challenge. Do you have to report that on your taxes?
Technically, yeah.
Even though it's a net. Well, when maybe I can write off the loss.
Ooh, good point.
As an investment.
There you go.
I got to call my accountant and see if I can get to the bottom of this, because I definitely lost money on this. That is for sure. Because if you guys want, I have a Dwayne Wade layup for sale right now, number 1007 for $75. That one I'd really like to sell.
And so you just have it listed for $75.
Yes.
There's no you can't do like a bidding system.
Nope, it's a straight price. But what you can, so I'm going to look at some of the other ones. So it lists like all of the ones around that number that are available for sale. So like I have number 1007. Serial number 3, which is Dwayne Wade's jersey number, is selling right now for $22,000.
And this is the same moment?
It's the same moment. It's just they're individually numbered.
Wow.
And so now if I look, I have 1007 for $75. 1002 is for sale for $200. 1013 for $85. So I'm optimistic that maybe someone will buy it.
Wow.
And how much would you have to sell it for to recoup your costs?
Well, like I on a per card basis, I didn't really track it. Like I said, I'm about $130 all in, and I sold my Dwayne Wade for, what did I say?
15?
Yeah. So if that's the case, then I've got a ways to go. I've got a ways to go. But, it's an investment, right?
Yeah.
You don't invest for it's a long-term investment. It's going to my retirement.
Time in the market, as they say.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Exactly. I mean, I'll hook you guys up with a Marcus Smart 3-pointer for cheap. But anyway, so I'm done. Have you guys bought any NFTs?
No.
You never figured it out? You didn't get one of those smoking...
I think I did figure something out, but I already forgot what I figured out with the wallets.
Well, you were going to buy that little GIF of the spinning soccer ball?
And I think someone... I don't. Maybe no one bought it, but yeah, I never figured it out.
Probably for the best. Put your money where it's safe.
Right.
Now, speaking of things we talked about on past shows, last week, I think it was on the show, right, where we talked about how I could get a smart lock and how I should get a smart garage door opener.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So. The conclusion of the smart lock story is that Sean was wrong, and the fact that my lock has a keyhole on both sides is actually extremely important and is one of the only locks that you can't put a smart lock on. And in fact, the brand of the locks on all of my doors is specifically called out in the instructions of this smart lock, saying, "Yeah, you can't use this with this branded lock." I was then like, why is that? What? How could a lock like this be useful? A lock with a keyhole on both sides. The answer is it means if someone were to like use an axe and chop a hole through your door, they then couldn't reach in through the hole and open your door with a little twisty thingy on the other side. And I think they're also pretty hard to pick from what I was reading on the lockpicking subreddit. But someone else in the lockpicking subreddit was basically like, yeah, there's no reason to have a lock this good on a house. And if you do have a lock this good on your house, it actually might, put you more at risk because someone will be like, ooh, what's in this house? They have all these nice locks.
Well, I would also think, though, like any upside you get from that, like almost incredibly rare situation, you lose and needing to get out of your house quickly and being unable to unlock your door because you don't have a key.
It's a huge pain in the ass. We forget to lock our door all the time now because you need a key to lock it. There's several times we've woken up in the morning or come back and been like, oops. Yeah. It's actually illegal also because it's a fire hazard. But, we're grandfathered in.
Right.
Great.
Is it, when it's funny you say that. When you're grandfathered in, is that ever a good thing?
Unlimited data plans, that's about it.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But anything with like homes where you're like, they made this new rule to make it safer.
Right.
But we're grandfathered in. It's like,
we have exclusively lead-based paint, but don't worry, we're grandfathered in.
Grandfathered. Yeah. Yes, exactly. The whole place is lined with asbestos. It's very warm. Don't worry, but we're grandfathered.
Yeah. So yeah, between that and there is a very old 90s era security system, smart home style stuff installed in this house, just like these massive indoor motion detectors like the ones you have on the floodlights outside, but inside.
Oh, yeah.
And these little plastic doodads on every door that still blink whenever you open and close the door, but, I don't think I could connect it to anything. So I think one of the previous owners of this place was just a little bit of a nut. But the smart garage door opener worked great. No issues.
Wonderful.
And of course, I don't remember if we talked about this last time. I think this is why we talked about this, because I was figuring out that I could put all the Ring stuff in Homebridge. Did we talk about this? My Ring smart doorbell? Yes. Oh, and by the way, a new development since then is Homebridge now supports HomeKit secure video, so now I don't need to pay for the Ring subscription in order to see what happened at my door when it detected motion, because
that's
all
awesome.
stored in my iCloud, which is cool.
In the cloud.
And similarly, I can hook up the smart garage door opener to HomeKit using Homebridge without needing to buy the $70 dingus that they want you to buy, which is fantastic, and it works great. The only thing that's weird is in HomeKit, I forget if it's opening or closing the door. One of them it won't do automatically. I think it's probably closing. So that's a little bit of a bummer. Like, I can't actually set up the thing where it's like, when I leave the house, close the garage door.
But, I found that I had that turned on for a while. I found it not good enough. Like, the GPS on the phone wasn't accurate enough. Maybe this was a couple of years ago, but I found it would, like, open and close at weird times. I almost never use that.
Yeah, when we went to the bookstore in Seattle that only had programming books, so I have some of these location-based HomeKit alerts, and they work pretty well in a city. Like, all of these things, right? Like, all of these smart home things assume you live in a suburb, and so I have to get a couple blocks away from my house before it's like, oh, you left home. It's like, yeah, I did that a while ago. But it was like every 5 minutes, it was like, someone left home, someone arrived home, someone left home, someone arrived home. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, is someone breaking into our house? Was it the thing with the Apple Watch again? And it wasn't any of those things. And then we were going home, and I opened up Apple Maps to figure out how to get home. And sure enough, Apple Maps was like, you are home. Like, what? No, and then eventually it fixed itself. But I had some like weird GPS bug in iOS this weekend.
Yes.
Maybe you're getting hacked.
It could be getting hacked. It's true.
Wow.
But I love the smart garage door opener. That is one of the only smart home things, or I don't know if that's true. It is the smart home thing that has gotten the biggest applause from the other member of the household, I'll say.
And I stand by. It's the ease of the low cost and ease of installation, ratio to the most you get out of it. It's not perfect. It doesn't change your life, but for the price and the ease of installing it,
I didn't even have to screw anything in because I couldn't because I don't have a drill, which I'm realizing is a thing you need when you live in an actual house. But I just use command hooks. I command hook the shit out of it. Everything's taped to the walls. It's great. But yeah, especially because our garage door remote didn't work pretty much at all before. So now we actually have one, and the cost was $30, and it's hooked up to all the things. It's great.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's awesome.
Amazing. The future is here. I fixed my sink this week.
Sure is, man.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Which,
Man, this really is becoming a home improvement podcast.
So what's up with the sink, man? What happened?
well,
Break it down.
this has been at this point, a multi-year saga where one side of the sink was leaking. The cold water side of the sink was leaking. So it's like a fancy sink. So it has the ceramic cartridge, valve things, which are pretty expensive.
What's that?
There are various ways that your sinks can release water. And the fanciest way is that there's a little this ceramic valve where there's two discs that press against each other, and they when you turn the sink, it turns one of the discs, and it has slots on one side, so it lets water out. Most sinks just have.
Oh, so if you wanted to collect water in the sink, you would engage these discs?
No. This is for the faucet. When you turn the knob. So my sink has two. It has a hot turny thing and a cold turny thing.
Got it.
So it was leaking, and so leaking from the drip, it wasn't closing all the way. So so I purchased a new one of these valve things, and I replaced the cold water side. And in doing this, I noticed that, I didn't notice this, but the hot water side of my sink was really hard to turn for some reason. So I was I'll just replace that one too while I'm at it, and maybe it'll be easier to turn. So I replaced that one too. And in the process of doing this, there was gunk in the tubes. There was gunk in the tubes, so I replaced it.
Gunk in the tubes. Great band name.
Gunk in the tubes. I replaced the hot water side. I turned it on, and I turned it off immediately, which I've since learned you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to let the water run for a while. I turned it off immediately, and when I turned it off, there was some resistance, and I pushed it, and there was a little bit of crunching. And then suddenly the hot water was leaking aggressively, not close at all. So that was bad news. So I took the sink apart. It turns out there was some rusty metal in the line, and so it just totally destroyed the valve, which was awesome. So I ordered another hot water valve, which arrived some weeks later. I replaced it. And
what did you do in the meantime?
Well, in the meantime, I just shut off the hot water at the under the sink, which causes all kinds of chaos in the pipes because the tubes where they meet, they're connected. It's just water pushing against each other, and so having one side off gets like air and crap into the cold side, so it does all the things where like you'll shut the water off and it'll like bang the pipes. It's terrible.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And so I did that. So I replaced the hot water again. And like after a week it started leaking again. And that was like 6 months ago. And I finally got around to ordering yet another hot water valve. And this time I put it in, and I also like, there was some gunky buildup. Like the water here is kind of hard. So you get like sediment buildup. So there were some lumps of like hard stuff where it was supposed to seal. So I scraped that off. And now I'm not trying to get too excited. I'm very, very wary because the last time I thought it was working and then it started leaking again. But so far it's been 2 days. No leaks and no pipe banging or any other plumbing shenanigans.
Man, the pipe banging's the worst.
Oh, yeah. It's bad news.
It's amazing to me. People don't realize how dirty and gross stuff like this can get, stuff involving where water sits in it for decades. I mean, I've replaced a couple garbage disposals. I've the U joint under the sink and all this kind of, when you put in a new faucet and there's just gunk and sediment and so unpleasant.
I've really had to learn by doing experience with the sinks, which I would not have done if it wasn't the pandemic. Like I definitely would have called someone in another time, but I'm glad that I didn't, because now I feel like I can wrangle a sink if I need to.
Well, did I ever tell you guys what I did to my bathtub at my old house right before I sold it?
No.
Oh, this was spectacular. So my tub faucet was dripping, not gushing, but a little more than drip, drip, drip. Like a decent amount of water was coming. I measured once. It was like several gallons a day. Oof. If you added it up. And my realtor was like, "Oh, you can't sell it like that." And I said, "Fuck yeah, I can. Let them fix it." But no. So, I'm too cheap to hire a plumber because I started taking it was the faucet handles. They were ancient, original to the house from the 70s. So I started taking them off and I realized, oh no, I'm in over my head because I could tell they were broken. The faucet handles were broken, but because they're so old, they don't make replacement parts. So what I should have done was call a plumber to come actually cut them out and solder in like whole new valves right to the pipe. Even though it was only a small piece in the middle of each that was busted. However, I am cheap and about to sell my house, so I didn't do that. So instead, I went to Home Depot, bought a random grab bag of plumbing supplies. I, no joke, glued them together. And I swear to God, the day I sold the house, it wasn't dripping and the handles worked just fine. What I learned later was that they had to replace all the plumbing in the bathroom because I glued it all together. My realtor was like, Sean, you really screwed up that bathroom pretty badly. And I'm like, and that's why you never know what you get when you buy a house. Because it looked great and it functioned great just long enough for me to sell it.
Now,
but I literally was so mad. I was gluing stuff together and I'm like, I don't think I should be doing this.
And I'm guessing, like, there's no way for anyone to tell, right? Unless you took it apart?
Well, that's the thing about house inspections is they only check, like, they don't look in the walls. They don't, like, take the handles off of the faucet till they turn it on. Hey, it works. They turn it off. It stopped with the water. You're good. Like, you can get by a lot of stuff if you're a clown like me.
Yeah.
So that's why plumbing, I'm very... I get what you're doing, and I agree with the pandemic, but I'm very aggressive. I have brought in plumbers since the pandemic because plumbing is one thing.
Yeah,
I've learned the hard way. You're going to regret messing with plumbing.
Yeah, my policy is anything that can damage something else if I fuck it up, I don't do it.
Yeah.
$10 worth of damage? No, but like for example, we were considering like hanging a TV, for instance. hanging TV, if I screw that up, I might damage the wall, the floor, and the TV. No, not happening. That's like 10 grand right there. No.
Mm-hmm.
See, I've hung my own TV multiple times.
Well, I told you guys about it. I've got so many bad home improvement stories, but I told you guys about the first TV I ever hung. I pre-drilled the first couple screws into the studs, and I did the fourth, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right. And I'm pushing go, so toosh, it just pops. I'm like, what the hell is that? I drilled it through the back of my medicine cabinet in my bathroom. Turns out I measured right. There should have been a stud there, except they cut it out and put in a medicine cabinet. And so there was just permanently a big hole in the back of my medicine cabinet where I tried to mount a TV.
That's fun.
Never assume what's behind your walls, kids. That's a free lesson.
Yeah. With the number of holes I've drilled in the walls, I'm surprised I haven't hit anything more interesting than like another screw. I had a streak once where like 3 times in a row, I drilled a hole directly into a screw that was in the stud.
Oh, that was already there? That's impressive.
It hadn't happened before, and it's never happened since, but I don't know. Houses. They shouldn't let us do this.
Now, when you've hung TVs, have you hung a TV in a rental unit?
No.
Okay.
I have not either.
All right, just checking.
They're just too big of holes to patch.
That was my thought. Yeah. Okay.
Unless you have the paint. If you have the paint, they do like places do a really good job matching paint. I learned. That's the thing I learned over the summer.
Yeah, but then, that it's one thing to patch a hole. It's another thing like, all right, step 1, go to the paint store. Step 2, special order this paint because they don't have it, and then get it, and then, just like, not worth it.
My fear with mounting at a rental, though, is not necessarily, like, if it goes well, you're probably fine, because I do think you can patch it if you take it down and all, you're fine. The issue is going to be if you accidentally, because they're big screws, they're right into the studs, if you screw it up, it's going to take down a huge chunk of the wall. The failure doesn't make up for the benefit of having it mounted in a rental.
Agreed.
Yeah, you definitely wouldn't endear yourself to your landlord. I feel like you could ask your landlord to do it.
But he's just a guy. He's just a guy who works at Amazon.
Right. Right. I bet a guy who works at Amazon appreciates the
the need to
for a wall-mounted TV.
It's actually artwork in this case, not TV. Lena has some extremely heavy artwork. Actually, one of them is in
a
blue bag behind me. If you like, it's big.
Hell yeah.
Wow. But when I looked it up, I was like, oh yeah, step 1, find the stud. Step 2, drill the pre-hole. And then put this plastic thing inside, and then get this bolt and do this. Yeah. And then patching it was like a 3-day affair. It's like, oh yeah, first you gotta put the stuff on it, and then you paint it once, and you let it dry, and then you paint it again, and it's like done. Not worth it.
Painting takes so long. Painting according to the instructions takes so long.
You could put it that way, sure.
There's a reason why there's that saying about watching paint dry.
Yeah.
And Colby will not have it.
No,
There's not time for that. He's a busy man.
Did it once.
Oh, yeah.
Never again.
So what's your new strategy?
I don't know. I mean, I think my new strategy is just to not paint until I move out of here.
Fair.
I think the real problem was when I was painting like the window, the newly installed windows. It was I did them one at a time. So I did like one a weekend, and I also all of my stuff was in here. So I had to step 1 of painting was like move everything into like out of the way as much as possible, and then then do some painting, and then like it was, you do like 2 coats, and then it was you had to let it dry for 3 hours or whatever. So that like that was the day, and then you had to move all the stuff back to like live your life, and then day 2 start again. So it was
Did you listen
6
to the
days to paint like 20 square feet of wall.
Did you listen to the podcast with Merlin Mann and John Syracuse where he gets the new refrigerator?
No.
I think you would really appreciate it. I'll find it. I will put it in the show notes.
Nice.
Introduce the concept to me, and it sounds like you're already familiar with it, of preparing the way, the pre-work.
Oh, yeah.
Get a refrigerator, but that's just step 1.
Right. I'm very familiar with this. Yeah. Every time I get something delivered, I have to move everything, like something big. Like you got to move all the furniture into the bedroom, or at least out of, the furniture that's in the walking path, out of the walking path. Madness.
Making the most of that space.
Yep.
Guys, why don't we pivot on over to the news?
There's
what do
news?
you say?
Let's do it.
Did you know the New York Times
there's
bought
always news.
Wordle?
Hey, that's in the rundown.
Whoa!
Hot off the I would love to talk about
Look at
Wordle.
that segue.
Wordle, the smash hit viral online word game, was purchased by the New York Times. Guys, are you Wordle players? I've seen some of you. Yeah, okay, I see some nodding heads.
For sure.
Big fans of the
I've
game.
fallen off ever since I was released from solitary confinement at my old desolate apartment, but I still play it sometimes.
Yeah. I do it most days.
I'm a first of all, this is just, did you guys ever see the game show Lingo back in the day?
No, but you're a game show
Lingo,
aficionado.
Well, Lingo is basically Wordle, where it would do the same thing, where it was 5-letter words, and they would tell you right letter, wrong place, or right letter, right place, and you would use it to win money. So this isn't like, the guy didn't invent the concept. He just built a really slick, easy-to-use, simple web app for it. But for those who haven't played, it's just guessing a word of the day. I really have fallen in love with the daily puzzle. Wordle, and then there are a couple others I keep bookmarked that I like to play on a daily basis. But Wordle's been bought by the New York Times. Now, New York Times already has a suite of games, if you're not familiar, on their website, including games, obviously the crossword puzzle, which is very classic. But they also have Letterboxd. They have the Spelling Bee. They have like 5 or 6 daily games on there.
They bought Letterboxd, or did they always have Letterboxd? Was that always a New York Times thing?
The game?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I thought it wasn't, but maybe I just never realized.
I mean, they're definitely investing in it. They've reportedly spent low 7 figures for Wordle. The app will initially remain free to new and existing players, according to its creator, Josh Wardle. And he's working with the New York Times to preserve players' existing wins and streak data once the game heads over to the website.
That's cool.
Nice.
I mean, that's a good payday for that guy.
Sorry, did you say
no
low
kidding.
6 figures or low 7 figures? 7.
7. Over the mill mark, yes.
The mill mark. How do you feel about things? Nothing can exist nothing successful seems to be able to exist independently.
I think this could have survived on its own. I mean, this is so dense. The guy who created it wrote a little update on Twitter talking about the sale. He was basically like, dude, this is overwhelming. Like, this blew up out of nowhere. I made this thing for fun, and they're offering me over $1 million for it. Yeah, I'll sell it. I think he could have kept it running in its current state forever, but he wasn't profiting off of it, and he wasn't going to turn it into a business. So
yeah. I mean, it raises the question, like, what is the price tag for Don't Panic?
Well, that's how can we? again, we're about chasing trends here on the show. How do we turn Don't Panic into a daily game? That's what's hot.
Well,
that's the fad
we
right
have the daily pick.
We do. We got to gamify it.
That's true.
Where it's like the pick, but it's missing letters or something.
Yeah, or like it presents you like 4 links, and which one of these was a pick, and which one was a news story.
Yes.
That one's probably pretty easy though, but.
No, I like the idea.
Like it presents you 4 picks, and you have to pick which one is now defunct, or maybe which one is not defunct.
Match the host to the pick.
Oh, that's a good one.
Classic.
That's a good one. I mean, I think I would say, look, if Wordle is worth low 7 figures, I mean, we've got to be worth low 4 figures. I mean, I don't think that's unreasonable, right?
We have like, our audience is small, but each extremely valuable.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, our 1 episode to 1 listener ratio, in terms of our listener base, I think is a no-brainer.
Advertisers, they want highly engaged, audiences.
Oh, yeah. When I think of the Don't Panic audience, the first thing that comes to my mind is highly engaged.
Yeah, man.
Hey, what percentage?
I think
percentage of our total listenership is watching right now? That's all I'm saying. I bet you it's pretty high.
Yeah, well, it's probably the same percentage that comment on our YouTube videos. Why don't you guys just give up already?
we should change the subtitle of the podcast to that.
Why don't you give up already? I kind of like Don't Panic: a daily word game. It's like when what was it? The Long Island Iced Tea Company changed their name to Long Island Blockchain for a week, and their stock went up like 1,000%. I think we should do that. So there you go. Do you guys have any other little daily games you like to play?
No,
if you caught on to this trend.
I don't, but I like the idea. I like that.
Yeah, what are the ones you like?
Yeah.
Well, I keep them bookmarked, and so when I have a little bit of downtime at work, I like to bang through a couple of them. So I'll do Wordle. Letterboxd is very fun. I do like that game. Spelling Bee is too hard. I can't do Spelling Bee. I know that one went viral a little while back. And then Vulture, which I don't know if you guys know the Vulture blog from the New Yorker, all entertainment stuff. They do a daily crossword. It's not huge, but it is challenging. But it's all entertainment stuff, so that's a little more up my alley. So I've been doing that. That's it for the moment.
I've had times when I was into the Times crossword. I don't like that. Like, I like the Monday crossword, and I like the Tuesday crossword, but there is Sunday is soul crushing. I wish it were just easier. I wish I could have an easy one for me.
The Colby edition.
Yeah.
And I'm not interested in becoming any more cultured than I already am. I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied
You've reached
with
your limit.
the level I'm at on that front.
You don't try it.
Oh, I'll be the.
What?
Go ahead, Sean.
I'll be the first to admit I cheat. I mean, I'll do the reveal letter, reveal word. I try not to, but I also will not quit without finishing. So if I get really stuck, like I will.
Right,
I'm
it's
not
for your
that
health.
committed.
You have to Google it.
No, it's just I want to finish it, and I've got a meeting I got to get to. Like I'm going to finish, wrap it up. Like I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Now, so you're not interested in. I have a friend who I think, I don't know how high up she is. She is on like global leaderboards for Sunday crossword puzzles, and her time is in the single-digit minutes.
Hell yeah.
Jeez.
Hell yeah. Now that, we talk about Twitch and people streaming video games. If someone streamed
That's a
themselves
good
doing
idea.
the crossword, that I would watch. That I want to see.
That would
That
be
would
cool
impress
if there
Now,
was
did-
like a play-by-play of their thought process. Like,
Yeah, they
Right.
have to talk
Right.
it out and be like, take you through how they come to these answers, but man, that would be impressive.
Did you see, I haven't watched it yet, but do you know about the Awesome Games Done Quick event speed running.
I heard about it, but I don't know much about it.
It's a speed running thing. People get together in person in the before times and virtually now, and they do live speed runs of video games, and they get like the best people for each game to do it. And this year there's a new category of speedrunning GeoGuessr, the game where you're dropped into a Google Street Maps view, and you have to figure out as fast as you can exactly where you are. And
that is one I would like to see.
I'll have to find it. I want to watch it too.
Because it's, and this is not to take away from people who play video games very fast or very well, but it's hand-eye coordination. Like, I get the physical nature of, like, okay, I can hit the trigger faster, my eyes respond. But, like, the mental stuff, like the knowledge stuff, like Jeopardy or something, like the knowledge stuff, that impresses me. Like, that I like to see working.
Have we talked about there is a lot of hand-eye coordination in speedruns, but have we talked about the crazy optimized speedruns where, like, the Super Mario 64 one where they end up talking about, like, in, like, 12 dimensions? Like, in order to understand the speedrun, first we have to understand 12-dimensional movement. Have you seen this video, Sean? God.
No, you walked us through
it,
though. Yeah. We did talk about it on the show and some of the other little
good.
Errors in code they'll exploit and all that, the whole speed running.
Right.
Thing.
So there's one side of it which is intellectual and cerebral, which is understanding or imagining how to like take these tricks and apply them in new ways to go faster.
I love it. And also, Colby, thank you for putting in our Slack here. There is New York Times crossword streaming on Twitch.
Not that much, though.
No. Should I start streaming my my daily games? What do you think?
I would watch.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Because I don't. Do you guys have a Wordle strategy?
Yeah.
No.
Are you willing to share it?
Tears.
Or is this
Tares?
Okay.
I think those are a lot of the most common letters in words. Your T's, your R's, A, E, S. Lots of words end in S. That's my strategy. And then it depends how I feel. Sometimes I'm feeling spicy. I go for the hard mode where you have to use all the letters that you correctly guessed. At least the letter and position in your future guesses. Sometimes I don't. If I don't, then as soon as I get one, I'm like, especially the first 3 guesses, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to use any of these words, even ones I didn't get in the right spot, or any of these letters. That's my strategy.
Wow. Yeah, I'm train and pores.
Train and pores.
4 vowels and a lot of popular consonants, including S and T.
Nice.
That's a good one.
But I'm also the guy who's like 3 or 4 words in will guess a word that like doesn't have any repeating letters in it, just to try and get some in and try and figure out some extra letters. I'm not good. I think I did it once in 2, and other than that, most of the time it's 5 or 6. I'm not.
I did it once in 2 because I saw Laura's. Yeah,
still counts.
I did. We may have talked about this, but my first ever Wordle game, I got it on the first try.
You did.
Wow.
Oh no! I think. You know what? I think it was the first guess I got all black squares, nothing right, and the second guess I just got it correct.
You got.
And I was like, I don't understand how this game works.
I was about to say that's not a good introduction.
I don't like that there can be words with 2 of the same letter. I think that's annoying.
Oh,
I'm upset they won't let me make up words.
I saw a cool one today, which was it was Wordle, but New York City subway. And so you're presented with all the subway lines, and you have 3, I think, squares and 5 guesses. And there's a route that you're trying to guess. And it's a real-life route. And so today it was like Times Square to somewhere in Queens. And it's like, first you'd like take the S from Times Square to this other station, then you take this other train from there to Queens, then in Queens you transfer this other train, and that's the route. And same thing, it'll say like, oh yeah, the S is there, but it's not the first train. It's like, okay. And you have to use like different, your geographical brain to figure it out.
Yeah, I like that.
Very
Smart
cool.
stuff, man. You should have thought of that. Any other news stories in here worth talking about, guys?
Well, Wordle must have been the biggest, acquisition in gaming news today, right?
Yeah, for sure. Not even close. No, actually, we've seen a lot of acquisitions in gaming, and it's not just the New York Times buying all the games. We got into it a little bit last week. We talked about Activision Blizzard going over to Microsoft. Well, Sony's getting in on the action, buying Bungie, the developer of Destiny and others, for $3.6 billion.
How does that compare to the Activision one?
That was $68 billion.
$68 billion. Wow.
Yep. And then Take-Two Interactive bought everyone's favorite Facebook gaming app developer Zynga for $12.7 billion.
Really? Zynga? What is Zynga up to these days? Is Farmville still like killing it? Are there like 15-year veterans of Farmville still playing?
That's a good question. I'm gonna see if I can find their current list of games from their website. Games. Farmville, Words with Friends, Umpires and Puzzles, Mere Dragons.
Words with.
It's a lot of when you see those ads for apps where you're like, I would never give them my personal information, that look like scams. They make those,
right?
But they have a lot of them. Boggle with Friends, Dawn of Titans, Gin Rummy Plus. Yeah, these look awful. Solitaire. But Willy Wonka Slots. So apparently it's worth $12 billion. So,
there you
go. Take what you can get. But
games, man.
Yeah, so man, big money.
Big money.
Well, so what's funny is, Microsoft used to own Bungie. I don't know if you know this.
That's right. They developed the original Halo.
But then before that, Bungie was like the darling Mac developer of games. It was like the only company that made Mac games. So they've really been around. Wow. Next they'll just need to get bought by Nintendo, and then they'll have, I don't know, whatever the EGOT of games is, they'll have it.
Well, I guess it's a question for you guys. Every time one of these apps, these developers, don't know why I couldn't say that word, developers is purchased, they keep saying, no, we're going to stay cross-platform. Just because Microsoft buys us doesn't mean we're Xbox exclusive or Sony PlayStation exclusive, at least for a couple of years. Do you guys think that do you think there's more money in it being cross-platform, or do you think eventually some of these go exclusive?
I think we're seeing that with the Bethesda acquisition, the original one that Microsoft did last year, I think.
Yep.
I think they've said that some of their new games are going to be Xbox exclusive. So I think that's the way it's going to go. We're back to the bad old days.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I go back and forth because I agree with you. Obviously, exclusivity drives console sales, but at the same time, in an age of in-app microtransactions, you would think having it in more places would lead to more incremental revenue.
But again, the subscription services, all these people want to be the Netflix of games now, including Netflix.
But isn't that Netflix's strategy, right? Is I think my car has Netflix on it. Everything has Netflix on it. So it would make sense to put, I guess what you're saying is it's an Xbox exclusive, but you can play your Xbox games on any device.
Yeah, can you do that?
Watch Netflix in my car?
No, can you play, if you have that, was it Game Pass, is that what they call it? Because for a while, PlayStation had the thing where you could play, you would get like a PS4 in the cloud. Right.
Yeah.
Is there a thing like that for Xbox yet? Because I could imagine, if PlayStation were in this position, I'd be like, sure, PlayStation, there'll be a PlayStation Now app for Xbox and for Windows and iOS and all this stuff.
Yeah, so right now, Xbox consoles, PC, Android phones, and tablets get Xbox Game Pass, but they're not really on a lot of... and actually, I believe your iPhone can play certain games through the browser at Xbox.com, but outside of that, they haven't really gotten on a lot of like set-top boxes and like, what was it? Is it Stadia has done where they're integrated with a lot of TVs? I think GeForce Now, which is NVIDIA's streaming game services, is like in Samsung TVs and stuff. They're just not there yet. But it wouldn't be crazy, in my opinion, at some point to see like an Xbox app on your PlayStation.
Yeah, although PlayStation could just say no.
That's true, but I think at that point, then they say, okay, but we want the PlayStation Now on the Xbox, and they sort of mutually, I don't know. I think if really subscriptions are their future and they don't care where you're playing it, it's in their best interest to be on as many devices as possible.
Sad times.
It will be interesting. It will be interesting. Remember, guys, consolidation is good. means operational efficiency.
Right. The market is working. Remember.
Yes. Yes. Think of how much easier your life will be when all of your favorite brands are owned by one company. They're doing it for you, darn it. That's excellent stuff, guys. But that's all the time we have for news. We have got to move on to picks, the part of the show where each of us brings something we want to talk about. And I've got to have Colby go first because I have looked at this thing over and over, and I got to know if he actually bought one. Colby, tell us about your pick.
I bought one.
Oh my God.
I got one of those remarkable things. It's like a Kindle. If you smushed a Kindle and an iPad together, it's like an iPad that you can't do anything on. But the reason, I've been using, like, most of pandemic life, I've been using like a notebook for work, which is useful. But then when you finish the notebook, you have a notebook of garbage. Like, it's just I feel like I'm just producing garbage. And so I saw, I've seen these things on the internet, and I know some people who have them and really like them. So I decided that I would try the remarkable thing. They also have like a, if you don't like it within 100 days, you can just return it. So I got one and it came last week, and I've been using it for a few days, and it's way better than I thought it would be. It is, as advertised, it's a thing you can write on, and that's all it does. And it kind of like syncs stuff to an app on your phone. Apparently you can also connect it to like Google Drive or something. But it just works really well, and it does, like the Kindle versus an iPad, the battery will last for like 2 weeks or something. Like, I've been using it for 4 days and it's still at 80% charge. Since the last time I charged it. And like, the pen works really well. It feels like there's a tiny bit of, like, it's a tiny bit behind you, but it's not, I feel like it's like fast enough that it doesn't really faze you at all. You kind of forget it's like not a thing. It comes with like, there's like 2 pen things. Like, I think you have to buy the pen separately, and one of them, the slightly more expensive one, has like an eraser thing, which is nice. But it's kind of cool if you take notes and you don't. The thing I also like, I looked around at some notebooks and I couldn't find a notebook that had the format that I wanted. So I was like, you know what? Who needs a notebook? Just gonna try a computer thing. But I think it's cool so far. Yeah. Cool. If you take notes and I don't know. Not that it's not even that my notes are the things I take notes about are not really important. They're mostly throwaway stuff. But
well, that's what I was wondering. If you ever see my desk at the office, I am famous for, I have a lot of little slips of paper everywhere with like little jotted down stuff, like while I'm on the phone, or little like, don't forget about this kind of stuff. And I don't want to keep all of it. Like the second I'm done with it, I want to get rid of it. And so that's why I don't like traditional notebooks, because then they end up with pages of stuff I don't care about.
Yeah.
And it sounds like this is a solution to that.
Yeah. It's also kind of fun. I'm definitely in the phase where it's still like, it's a cool new thing. So we'll see if in 2 weeks, if I am not using it, maybe I'll report back. But like, it definitely works. It's kind of cool.
Please do.
They also,
very cool.
A thing I'm confused about is that there's like a subscription thing that they have, and I think I have. Like, I think I like paid for the subscription in exchange for some dollars off of the thing or something, but I'm super confused about what the subscription does versus not. So
yeah, based on the website, you get cloud storage, you get like Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive integration, handwriting conversion into text, screen share. You got to pay for all that.
I haven't tried the handwriting conversion. I don't know if it's good or bad. Yeah, that's my story.
Cool. All right,
Sweet.
nice. That's an exciting pick. What about you, Dan? See a theme here.
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier that I was able to get my Ring cameras, which are Amazon devices that don't integrate with anything other than Alexa, hooked up with HomeKit secure videos. And what that means is that I don't have to pay for the Ring subscription, because the videos that, when motion is detected, videos recorded and stored in my iCloud drive, and so I save myself the however much per month it is. And the way I do this is with a thing called Scripted, which is spelled exactly the way it sounds, except with a Y instead of an I. Scripted, which is kind of like Homebridge, but more complicated. But it can live right alongside Homebridge in your HomeKit stuff. So I have Homebridge installed and I have Scripted installed, and now I run the Ring video stuff through Scripted and not through Homebridge, and that gives me most of the benefits of Homebridge, with the added benefit of when I get a notification someone's at your door, I get to look at it and be like, who was at my door? Because man, these delivery drivers and stuff, they move so quickly. By the time I click the thing and the stream starts, they're almost always gone. The only downside is that something Homebridge does that Scripted does not is when you set up the Ring doorbell in Homebridge, it's an actual doorbell in HomeKit, which means you get the WWDC experience of when someone rings your doorbell and you're watching TV, the like video feed pops up on your TV. Don't get that with Scripted. But to be honest, that wasn't that useful anyways. But it did feel cool. Oh, also all your HomePods ring if it's an actual doorbell, which is cool. Especially if you live in a multi-tiered house. Multi-floored.
Cool. Scripted.app.
Yeah, you'll
Very
need
nice.
a computer to have it running on always.
But let's be honest, if you're listening to this show, you've probably got 5, 6, 12 computers lying. I mean, no shortage of computers.
Maybe, but you could turn around and sell those things. There's a big Raspberry Pi shortage right now.
Oh, really? Yeah. I knew I should have invested when I had the
Did you know they make 8 gigabyte Raspberry Pis? I learned that today.
Oh, my. Is that a lot? I don't know.
I think
That's a lot. It wasn't so long ago that Apple sold 8 gigabyte MacBooks as the base model.
True.
Actually, they still do, right?
probably.
Isn't that the base M1 Mac?
Okay. Well, I have 8 in my computer, so
There you go.
Maybe I should shut my damn mouth. No, guys, enough technology. I don't want to hear more about your technology. We're going old school for my pick. We were talking about hanging stuff up. A big part of that is finding studs in walls. I can't take credit. It's the wire cutter's pick. And naturally, when I bought my first house, I kind of bought everything they recommended, including the C.H. Hanson magnetic stud finder. Now, I know what you're saying. Sean, it must be easy to find a stud because you are one. And I say, hey, first of all, that's a nice thing for you to say. Second of all, no, you need an actual stud finder. $10. You get this thing. It's got magnets in it, which is nice. You kind of just run it over the wall and it kind of like sticks to where the nails are and the studs and any pipes or anything. And it's got a little level built in. I don't know. I can't say much about it other than it's incredibly simple and works well. And it's how I've hung up a lot of stuff.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
a little thing to keep in
That's
your
the thing you
toolbox.
need. The electronic ones don't work.
Yeah, I mean, it's old school. But it's also, I will say, it's also convenient because it has the little level built in. So you can quickly sort of pinpoint what you're doing without having to have a bunch of
Right.
extra
It's got the
tools.
level and it's got the little pointer thing. That's what you need.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's great. I'm a fan. No batteries. It's just magnets. Just magnets. So the C.H. Hanson depth metal and wood stud finder. We will include links to that and all the other picks on the
I think
website.
the real question is, who is C.H. Hanson and why is he a Viking?
Who is C.H.? You know, is this one of those things like, was he canceled? Like, are you sure you want me to find out
maybe
who
that's
C.H.
a good
Hanson
point.
is?
Maybe we shouldn't ask questions we don't want to know the answers to.
Don't open Pandora's box.
Exactly.
Our company's founder, Christian Henry Hansen, the CH of C.H. Hansen, came to the United States of America from Denmark in the mid-1800s. Shortly after arriving in the U.S., the 39th New York Volunteer Infantry drafted him into the Civil War. He fought with the 39th in many major battles, but was injured in the Battle of Gettysburg. He was taken to Fort Dearborn in Chicago, where he was discharged and decided to settle in the growing city. In 1866, he founded C.H. Hansen, basing it off the stencil business he knew in Denmark.
Wow.
Oh, no. Oh, no. This is very long, but I kind of do want to keep reading it to you. The King of Denmark even recognized him for his work helping Danish immigrants. But then 6 years after the business began, the Great Chicago Fire almost destroyed all of his work. After his building burned down with just the clothes on his back and a handful of stencil dies, he vowed to rebuild everything. And they did. They've been in business for over 150
He
years.
did.
Wow. What a story. I'm glad I asked.
And still owned by the Hanson family. The fourth and fifth generations are running the company today. So support a family-owned business with my pick this. Cool. Well, gentlemen, anything else this evening?
Nope.
No.
We did it.
We sure
No one
did.
put-
What a great episode.
No one tried to break into my house.
Get out of here.
No. And as we've learned, it's very easy.
As long as you know the
so-
secret.
You sh-
Secret giant
sure,
back
folks.
door. That is actually the front door because
The-
it's the one visible from the street.
a literal back door into Dan's house. Yeah, wonderful. Well, hey, look, if you're looking for any other secrets as to how to bring in Dan's house, you got to go to our website, don'tpanic.io. We've got all the past episodes there, audio and video, as well as links to all the picks. You're not going to want to miss it. You can also subscribe wherever you get podcasts. It's the best way to get the show every week. And the video version is on YouTube as well. And, of course, you can get in contact with us, don'tpanicshow@gmail.com, or tweet at us at don'tpanicshow on Twitter. But we're done here. What a wonderful Monday night, spending it with you, gents. Always a pleasure. On behalf of Dan and Colby, I'm Sean. Appreciate you all being here. We'll see you next time for a great edition of Don't Panic.